Hello and welcome to another episode of Journey to the Rise. I'm your host, Lucretia. In today's episode, we have the second half of our conversation with Deanna Lamont. She is such an inspiration and is living proof that a higher power will provide for us when we listen to our heart's desire. Often we live in this fear, thinking we can't do it. We tell ourselves we have kids, we have responsibilities, we have a job, often that we hate. But it pays the bills, so who am I to take the chance on what I really want to do? But by not taking that chance, it will leave us forever wondering. And I hope you know you are worth the risk of taking that chance on yourself. To live the life that you desire is worth everything. Let's not wander any longer on what else Deanna has to share with us. Please welcome back Deanna Lamont. And you also talk about to let go of those people who bring you down and surround yourself with people who bring out the best in you. Letting go of those people who we view as friends or even family who are bringing us down or not healthy for us. You know, it's really hard to let those people go, right? Like it's almost like a comfort zone, doing something that's hard. We get around these people who maybe toxic is too harsh of a word, but they're unhealthy. And so I'm curious about your perspective. When we don't have that group of supportive friends, but we need to let go of the negative, how would you suggest someone navigate those waters?
And it kind of ties in what we just talked about. So, well, two things. So say it's a family gathering. So here everybody is at Thanksgiving, and every family probably has, that one uncle or the,
Yep.
the crazy
Aunt
aunt.
Bessie.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, how can I deal with this? And so situations like that, you can breathe and you can just deal with it, because it's a short amount of time. There's other times where, this person might be toxic, or they're always negative. It doesn't feel good. I can tell that they don't give a flying hoot about
Right.
about me or whatever. So you can either set up boundaries, create personal boundaries with that person. Sometimes that's hard. So, and if, like you said, if you don't have that support group, well, I'm just going to go with the people that where I feel respected. Go back to, because it will come. Go back to the person at the store. Go, be kind to an animal.
Yeah.
Just playing with a dog, or going to the I want to say the pound. I don't think that's the right word,
societies.
But thank you. And volunteer. You're gonna find that heart opener connection with somebody or something, or even if it's nature. And again, just in bite-sized pieces. And I can guarantee. So maybe you're at the park, for example, and you just happen to, sit down by somebody on a bench, and you have this conversation that's really rich. Well, that conversation, whether it's 2 minutes or 20 minutes or 2 hours, that's a chunk of time where now you're in a vibration of having an enjoyable conversation back and forth with somebody. And again, the law of attraction is going to draw more of that to you. So it may not reflect in the person that you're at angst with, but you're going to start to find your tribe, or you're going to hear about, a workshop going on, or a retreat going on, or a class you want to take. All of those things will start to bubble up, and then those just start to build on each other.
When you were saying that, it makes me think of the saying, do what brings you joy, find what brings you joy, and do more of that. Like going out and finding the things that, whether you're volunteering at the Humane Society, or maybe you join a kayaking club or a hiking club or a book club at the local library, find what brings you joy, and those good people will follow.
Absolutely. I believe that to my core. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the universe responding to the energy that you're putting out. And I hope if someone's listening and you are struggling with someone who's unhealthy, you don't have to put up with it. You deserve better. Please know you deserve better. And
absolutely.
I think we just kind of get short-sighted. We just think, oh, well, this is how life has to be. No, you have a beating heart, you have breath in your lungs, and you deserve all the good things this world has to offer.
Everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does. And when you're in the throes of it, is that hard? Yes, it's hard. So just start
hard.
with one step, just one step, or just take a breath. Just stop and take a breath. That's one step that can just help shift.
We so often, and I'm sure you see this in your line of work, how often do people forget to breathe? We're not breathing.
Often.
Yeah.
I catch myself doing that. I might be, watching something. I don't watch a lot of TV. And last night my husband found a movie, and it was a good movie based on a true story, but there was so much, real life stuff in it. I found myself, I had to tell myself, no, breathe, Deanna. So in stressful situations, same thing. We granted, we aren't, we'd be dead if we totally stopped breathing, but we start to breathe really, really shallow. We're just doing some chest breathing. We're breathing fast, and our nervous system goes on overdrive. That fight, flight, or freeze definitely kicks in. So just being conscious of your breath engages that parasympathetic nervous system. So you're going to calm down. The brain is going to say, okay, I'm safe, or this body is safe, and things can slow down and be more calming just with breath.
And that kind of goes into my next thing I want to talk to you about is you have a post regarding the freedom and permission to be encouraged to go after what it is you truly want. It starts with setting your personal intentions. And you kind of go on with saying, let your passion run wild so the colors of your life drip off the canvas as you paint your world as you want it. Start feeling the anticipation and excitement of living the life of your dreams. How has setting intentions worked for you in your life?
Uber important. And this is probably something that I've learned from Abraham, but segment intending. So even today, with having this amazing conversation with you, Lucretia, and Journey to the Rise, my personal intention with it was that this be such a rich conversation that totally fills your cup and lights you up, and totally fills my cup and lights me up. And anybody that is ever going to listen to this soon or years down the road is totally filled up and lit up, and that they're finding something inspirational, and it's uplifting, and true life things that can benefit all of us. That's an intention. So it helps going into something. You're not going in blind. So admittedly, I was all excited, super duper excited to share in this with you, and then today comes and it's like, I'm nervous. Where did this come from? Yeah. But I also have the trust in that I pre-paved it by the excitement and having the intention ahead of time. So then I trust that, okay, this is so. So in anything, you can set an intention in your job, how you want to show up for work, how you're going to be received. Picture it. Somebody that's really, really shy and they don't feel like they're recognized or heard or seen, and they can picture or set the intention that then when they walk into a room or a workplace or somebody's home or whatever, they picture the other people smiling and nodding and looking at them, and nodding that, oh, I hear you. go into it with that intention and see how that feels, and play around with it.
Yeah.
And once you experience it, it's like, oh, yeah, you're going to be setting intentions all day long.
Right.
It'll just become natural. It's not like, oh, I
Yeah.
have to set an intention. It's
Right.
your brain just automatically, oh, how do I want this next thing to feel?
And I don't know if you've heard Mel Robbins when she talks about nervousness and excitement. She does a little video on YouTube where she's behind the scenes before she goes on to talk, and she's like, I come out here and I hear the crowd and I'm getting ready and they're announcing me, like literally they are announcing her as she's doing this video. But she wanted to use it as an example. She's like, I'm nervous, but I'm going to tell my body that I'm excited, and I'm going to flip the switch on myself. And I'm like, oh,
I love that.
Yeah, I'll find the video and send it to you. But yeah, isn't that...
Thank you.
Yeah. But it's just like very much like what you're saying. Like, you're setting the intentions. It's like you're setting up muscle memory of your brain to reprogram, like, let's approach this differently.
Yes. And our bodies respond to that. Our mind might not, but our body will. It'll respond to that.
Yeah. And you also talk about you won't recognize your genius aspect if you've been conditioned to believe that you should accept your lot in life. Think small and not aim too high in order to avoid disappointment. Do you find in your profession it is more common in like small towns and smaller communities to accept what is in front of you and to think small and to settle? Maybe that's too harsh of a word. Or is this more universal?
Let's see. I don't think it's a geographic thing. I think it's a perception thing. So what I mean by that is, in small towns, we develop the limiting beliefs that, well, we're not like those big city folk. We're, whatever, we were taught. So that becomes a belief system now. So we hold ourselves back. And you can tell that this is true because there's the people that have grown up in a small town and, they graduate from high school maybe or at whatever point and they're out of there. And they're creating, whatever big dream that they have. So I think it's just it's a perception thing. So even if you're in a big city, it can actually be the opposite. I can become invisible here. Nobody sees me. So you can hide even amongst, crowds of people and hold yourself back that way.
Wow. I never even thought about that in larger cities, but you're right. You could be more perceived as just a number and fit in or don't fit in. Like, yeah. And in a way, it's an obstacle, like for some, like in some small towns and they have a thriving life and they're very, very happy. I'm not condemning anyone in a small town. Yeah, I'm just curious about the perception. And what about when it comes to learning and identifying when we create our own obstacles? Do you feel like as humans we create obstacles as a form of self-sabotage?
Yes. Or we create the obstacles and only we do that. I do it for myself. I create the obstacle, and then the self-sabotage is a result of is an action that I continue to do so that I don't have to fully show up. So I don't have to put myself out there. So I don't have to take the steps to follow my dreams.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a place that feels comfortable. Even if I'm uncomfortable, I know what to expect. And none of us like change, even though we say that we do. We really don't like change, and we don't like the unknown. So even when we know, okay, this dream is going to serve me really, really well, I'm excited about it, but I'm going to go hit that bag of chips and have a shot of tequila and tomorrow's a new day.
Right.
Not speaking from experience there, or maybe. So then the self-sabotage is what keeps us there. There's a price. We get a payoff for creating that self-sabotage to stay, hide behind that obstacle. And what's the payoff? Kind of like what I just said. We don't have to show up. I don't have to put myself out there. I don't have to be vulnerable.
Right.
So when we start to recognize then, okay, this is a pattern of behavior that is not serving me. So I need to look at, I start backwards then. I look at my self-sabotage behavior or my self-talk, and I start working with that. And I don't try to fix anything, because none of us are broken. So I'm not fixing something. It's just a piece of me. It's been a pattern of behavior or a belief that served me. Again, it served me at one time, but I'm ready to, put that in the back seat. My heart is going to be the driver, and we're going a new direction.
Yeah. I love when you just said none of us are broken, because how many times have some of us felt broken? Like, I've felt broken. So I know I'm not alone on that. So for you to say that is so enlightening.
And it's so true. It's true. And so when we're told, or even, I come from a broken family. No, you don't.
Right.
You still have a family. You may live in 2 different households. That's
Right.
all. It's not a broken family. It could even be a healthier family.
Yeah, a healthier dynamic, because you do have the 2 households.
Yeah, which is all perception. But I don't know what I was going to say around that. That's okay.
But I think it's interesting because, like, how often and I've run into people, they go to college, they think they're going to pursue something, their life doesn't go, next thing that they know, they're in their 30s, then their 40s, then their 50s, and they feel broken because they didn't, things didn't take off like they expected. But yet, how many times are we hearing people finding new careers, businesses in their 50s, 60s, even their 70s? Like, right. So when you're like, we're not broken, it's like, oh my gosh, that's so true. We have what all of those
need. Yes. And all of those are just blessings in disguise, really.
Right.
We're fine-tuning. So you go to college, and then you go to do something else, and it's like, oh, yeah, that didn't work. That doesn't mean that's a bad thing. That just means you're fine-tuning more of what you want. So it's just, okay, I hit a roadblock. That's all it is. It's a roadblock. So then you turn around and let's choose a different path.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And I want to kind of dive into affirmations. You had posted, each morning affirm, I attract only peace in my life. When you do so, people will respond to you with smiles, acknowledgement, kind greetings all day. What are your feelings about affirmations?
So affirmations, I love affirmations, but again, the missing piece with affirmations is that you need to get into the feeling space of it. So it's not just the words.
Yeah.
You really want to feel those words. So if it's, I feel at peace today, well, you can't be at angst and angry, pissed off at somebody and say, I feel at peace today. No. Your body, it's not embodied in you. So that's probably not going to, peace probably isn't going to show itself. But even if you're angry, for example, and I'm feeling more and more at peace, can I feel that? Yeah, I can feel that. And what does it feel like to feel at peace? And can I feel peaceful in this moment as I just take a breath in and feel that peace in my body? Yeah, I'm at peace today. And then you can go on to picture, how you want things to play out or hope things to play out.
So it's kind of like
And that's
using
how affirmations can work.
I love this because that's insightful. It's almost taking affirmations and combining them with setting intentions.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow.
And it's the whole ball of wax. So affirmations with intentions, with the emotion. And I think that's why it's so important to learn to feel emotions. So maybe an affirmation might be, I'm joyful. And how can I know how far that scope of joy is if I don't know how, on the opposite end of the spectrum, how deep grief is, for example. So I was not serving myself. I'll use myself as an example. I was not serving myself all those years that I would bury those emotions that I thought were too hard. And when I allowed myself to, and this has happened, in different segments over the years, to, have I felt joy before this year? Absolutely. But do I have the potential to feel even greater joy? Absolutely, by being willing to have really dug into my grief. So it all connects. And then with affirmations, another piece that's important is think from the end and keep it positive. So what I mean by think from the end is as if it's already happened. So not, I want more joy. I am joy. So it's not something I'm wanting, because the law of attraction is going to just put you in a place of wanting. Mm-hmm. Like, no, I am. I am joyful. And not, I don't want to be sad. Mm-mm. I am joyful. So you want the positive spin on it, and in the present tense.
Right.
So affirmations with that sense, put the feeling and the emotion behind it. Yeah, you've got a recipe for success there with your affirmations.
Wow. So there's so much more to it than a lot of people probably realize. But when you take what you just explained, how powerful is that? Like, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And the universe, you state, the universe, all creating spirit, responds to acts of kindness with a response, how may I be kind to you? It's kind of like what we were just discussing. Like, you're setting that intention, you're pulling in the affirmation, you're putting in the energy and the vibration. I think when this statement of acts of kindness with a response of how may I be kind to you, I think you are living proof that the universe has been kind to you with the success that has been brought to you by following your intuition. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more from our guest, Deanna. She shares with us how we all experience limiting beliefs and how we can take steps to overcome them. If your current messaging is inconsistent and lacks cohesiveness, then your customers will scroll past instead of click and look more into what you have to offer. With a branding photo session with Girl Boss Photography, you can tell a story through images. Utilizing those images in your marketing and content strategy will enhance your appearance and help build a connection to your existing and potential clients. Girl Boss Photography loves working with small and medium-sized businesses to help them build a strong visual brand. By partnering with creative entrepreneurs, listening to their goals, Girl Boss Photography curates a branding session that will tell the story of who you are, what you do, and how you are there to help your clients. If you're wanting to grow your business, improve your online presence, contact Girl Boss Photography to find out more about your options with their branding packages. You can send a message on Instagram at girl.boss.photography today. Welcome back to Journey to the Rise. We continue our conversation with Deanna. We talk about how a connection to nature. Welcome back to Journey to the Rise. We continue our conversation with Deanna, and she gets into how a connection to nature can help us find internal healing and lead us to growth.
And we live in a benevolent universe, a loving, kind, benevolent universe. And I know that's a hard concept to embrace when you look at world events and whatnot. But a lot of that is humanness.
Mm-hmm.
So the universe does want, is going to support us in the positive things, bringing the kindness. We just have to be open and trust that we are deserving of it, that we don't get in our own way. Right. Which of course goes back to obstacles and
Yeah.
it's all intertwined.
Yeah. And trusting ourselves that we will be okay.
Oh, big time. Yes. Because we will be. There's always, always, always something or somebody that shows up at the most magical time. Always.
Yeah.
And that can get into, some deeper conversation that we won't do now, but, because that's, I realize how that sounds when there's all kinds of topics that can be brought up around it. But anyway, we'll leave it at that.
Right. But how powerful once you trust yourself and the universe, once again, the universe will provide, right? And I think it goes into my next thing I would like to talk to you. Allow yourself to receive what is already yours. It's here. Just allow and know that you are worthy and deserving of your wildest dreams. What do you feel with your expertise holds us back from believing that we're not worthy, believing that we're not deserving, and keeping us from living the life we really, really want?
The stories we tell ourselves,
Yeah.
Which ties in with, again, the limiting beliefs. Like, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve, and everybody has those thoughts at any given time. Right? That's just a part of being human. So then it's just a matter of recognizing them. But is everything right here? We are not having Martians come and drop off, all kinds of things. Everything that is created on this planet is of this planet, of the masterminds, the people, that discover how something works or how to make something or whatever. It's all here. Mm-hmm. So then, again, it lines up with the law of attraction, or frequency and vibration. If everything is energy, and it is, that's science now, or proven. So everything is a vibration. So say I'm vibrating, I'm feeling kind of gunky, so I'm going to say I'm vibrating at this level. It's not good or bad, it's not, right or wrong. I'm just vibrating at this radio station, frequency of 99.9. What I want is over here, and I want, you can pick whatever it is that you want, but that's vibrating, it's something that I really want. It sounds super duper fun. My life is going to be better because I have it, whatever. But that's at a radio station of 102.7. It is impossible for me to tune in that radio station at 102.7 when my dial is at 99.9. So we need to come into vibration. So that's what I mean by it's already here. So it doesn't mean that thing that I want isn't here. It's just I'm not tuned up to it. As soon as I bring my vibration at the level of that vibration, which means I believe, I trust, I I'm not getting in my own way. There's no resistance. Is it going to show up? It's going to show up.
That's fantastic. And then it's almost like we bring it into an alignment for ourselves.
Exactly. So that's why it's so important, I think, to have, if it's a daily practice or whatever it is for you, getting outside in nature, paying attention to your breath, getting in alignment with source energy. Because source energy never changes. It doesn't okay, I'm going to come down to you. Source energy is source energy. It's here. It's a given. Mm-hmm. We have to line up with source energy.
Yeah.
And there is no lack in that space.
Right. And you have a quote on your social media. It says, "Tune into your body's wisdom. Be curious. Trust the nature is your guide." Now, when I read this, it was very intriguing. It made me feel that if we took the time to be calm, to connect with nature, we could find the answers that we have, or we could find answers to questions that we have unanswered. What resonates to you when it comes to this quote?
I love how you just stated that, so thank you. With that quote, so I believe we have our inner nature and we have the outer nature, the natural world, and they're connected. So truly, and there's a electromagnetic field, the minerals that are in our bodies are minerals that are in the earth. So there is again, that's a science thing. There's a magnetic field when we're outside in nature, or especially if you're barefoot in nature, but just getting outside in nature, you're connecting on a different level than just what our little brain is telling us.
Right.
And you can, if it's spring and you're seeing new buds on a tree, or flowers starting to open up, you can tune in and what is springing in my life? What is opening up? Where am I ready for new growth? You're gonna get some kind of thought or some kind of answer, like you said, to help guide you, even in things that we might deem, I'm going to say dead. So you see a dead tree. A lot of people would walk by it and say, why doesn't somebody take care of that dead tree? Or not give it any attention at all. Gosh, spend time with that dead tree.
Yeah.
It's not dead.
Right.
It provides a home for insects, and which provides, food for birds. And as it decays into the ground, it's providing nourishment, for that soil to provide new growth. So what areas in me do I label as dead and that I just don't even pay attention to?
Right.
Well, what can I look at that, that's not going to happen? Well, maybe it just needs a place, to get nurtured. There's life there. But it can just open up that inner, conversation to possibilities.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And you also have a statement about the movie Avatar that regards, instead of saying "I love you," say "I see you." And you have the whole thing. The author is unknown, and it's quite lengthy. But it went into talking about the connection of our common vulnerability, humanity, to see our pain, our strengths, your light in others without judgment, without blame, accepting others exactly for who they are. What are your thoughts on saying "I see you" versus "I love you"?
So, Lucretia, I'm going to use you as an example. I can look at you and I can say, "I love you." And so with that is a feeling. There's an emotion there. And then I can look at you and I can say, "I see you." Now, personally, it just took my heart and opened it even wider.
Yeah.
Because now it's not just, like I love you. It's I see all of you. I embrace all of who you are and fully, accept every part of who you are. Not just, oh, I love you. So there's no conditions to the love. It just is, I see you. I see you. And it just feels so much broader and wider.
Right. Yeah. I think when you say that to someone, it feels like you just said, it feels so different. Because how often do we feel unseen? How often do we feel like we're up against a wall or in a corner and we don't feel heard, we don't feel seen? So those three words just pack such a level of power and empowerment and kindness and love that I love you can't even touch.
Yeah. Yeah. And that you don't have to do anything but just show up as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be you. You're accepted.
Yeah.
And deserving.
Yeah.
You are enough.
You are enough.
Yes.
You are enough. And I see you and I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes a difference. And I think at any given time, it's quite likely to not feel enough. And there's relationships, romantic or otherwise. Maybe it's a career. Maybe, it's the deservingness of money. I think, how often do we find ourselves like, I want to make more money, but I don't deserve it? Yes, you do. And you talk about, right, absolutely. The universe is abundant and it will provide. And you've mentioned Abraham Hicks quite a bit on your Facebook page. You talked about it several times. For those who are not familiar with Abraham Hicks, could you share who this is and why you find the love of Abraham in the statement so inspiring?
Sure. So Abraham is a group of non-physical beings that just have universal wisdom, or I'll just leave it at that. And Esther Hicks is a real-life walking two-legged person on this planet. She connects with Abraham, and how she receives the information is like in blocks of thought, and then she translates that conceptual block of thought through her choices of words to express these teachings. And I've been I don't know how many years, 20, probably more than that I have listened to Abraham. And if you talk to Esther Hicks, she'll say, anybody can, receive, universal truths or whatever, or talk to Abraham. She just happens to be a really funny lady and is very good at it. She's very good at getting herself out of the way and presenting these thoughts and universal truths. And for me, it goes beyond the words. So it's like, this feels true to me, and it has helped me so much over the years of maybe that space of not being enough. And it's like, okay, I just have to recalibrate. I am enough. I just have to recalibrate. So, things are kittywampus. I have to recalibrate, get back in alignment. If you're alive on this planet, you're enough. You deserve. Period. End of story. And Abraham teachings, you can, go to YouTube and just search Abraham Hicks and put in whatever topic you want. So Abraham Hicks, not good enough. And it will be like they are speaking right to you. The teachings are so good. Yeah. And you either resonate with it or not. I'm not saying that that's for everybody, but It can be a really helpful tool for people, and they're in bite-size segments that are maybe 15 minutes long, and it might be just the shot in the arm that somebody needs to move forward in their day.
Right. They're really easy to listen to, and I've appreciated when she does her live ones when she's interacting with the audience, and she just calls it out, and they'll be like, "But oh, wait a minute!" Like you could feel that it's like they're trying to get out of their own way, and she just calls it out, and then they have this aha moment. And I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool!"
Yes, I love that, and I love seeing that light bulb turn on for people. And in myself, like, dang, yeah, that's good.
And you're right. She's very humble on saying we all have that ability to connect. She doesn't put herself on a pedestal. She makes it very realistic. Like, no, you can do this too. I believe in you.
Yeah, I love that about her, about Esther Hicks. The person. Yeah.
Very, very, I've only followed on YouTube, but the little bit that I know from that, online aesthetic, it comes across as very humble and down to earth.
Yes.
And something I think a lot of people get hung up on, and you have a post that I want to share, but I want to talk about people pleasing. And you talk about when we base our actions trying to please other people, it cannot ever be sustainable. You will eventually disappoint. Choose your actions being true to yourself with love, compassion, gratitude, and grace. You will never be perfect, yet you are truly perfectly imperfect. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. And you have this little poem, shall we say, that said, "My mom said something. You can lie down for people to walk on you, and they will still complain that you are not flat enough. Live your life."
Amen. So I am a recovering, I will not say a recovered people pleaser. And I am continually working with it. And it's especially this past year, really been proven to me. You cannot. It is impossible to please people.
Yeah.
At any given time. And what you're doing, the risk is that you're giving up your authenticity. So I will choose to do something or to say something to make sure somebody else feels good at the risk of me feeling bad.
Right.
Really? Like, why? That doesn't even make sense. Why do we do that? And that person that we just did that for, it's a fleeting moment. It's not even, it doesn't even matter to them. It might seem like it does in that moment, but no, it doesn't even matter. And it will be guaranteed that you continue to do that. At some point, you're going to disappoint. So what we lose is our authenticity. And so something that I'm working with myself right now is, am I willing to not be authentic? Am I willing to not be true to myself?
Ooh,
no.
That's good.
And then if I'm true to myself, if it's a specific person, they're going to find somebody else that's going to try to please them or whatever.
Yeah.
So no sweat. So it's off my shoulders. Can you imagine if we live in a world where we're all true to ourselves? If you're all authentic, if we are all authentic, you're true to yourself, you're not afraid to bring out your personal gifts and show up fully as you are, because we're not all interested in the same things. So if we're not trying to please somebody, what more can you be? Yeah. So rise up. Don't.
Yes.
Yeah, because you cannot get flat enough.
That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. And it ends up being stressful. And in regards of being stressful, and stressed out, life is going to throw us the curveballs, and And you talk about when we are finding ourselves needing to shift out of an anxiety or panic attack. And anyone who's experienced a panic attack, it is terrifying and it is a miserable experience. And it takes a lot of self control to pull yourself out of a panic attack and the stress of life. What kind of tips do you have that you can share to help us feel more centered and peaceful, especially in those moments of uncertainty?
In the panic attack spectrum, it goes beyond what we can talk about here right now, but you can retrain the brain for like almost anticipating the sensations prior to a panic attack happening, and maybe situations, and then work with yourself over the course of time so that they get less and less and you can curb them. But so stressful situations and even on the lower end of a panic attack, breath. Number one, breath. So and we can even do that. I can give a couple of examples if you'd like.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. That'd be
Okay.
great.
So a couple of things. The first breath, we're going to inhale through our nose, and then when you're at the top of that inhale, you're going to take one more sip of air in through your nose, and then you're going to do an audible exhale through your mouth. And by audible exhale, I mean ah. It's a big ah. And when you do that, you're engaging the heart chakra.
Oh.
It immediately calms you down, so that you and I are not ahhing over the top of each other. I'm not going to do an audible sound, and I'll just guide the breath. And we'll do three of those breaths. So you're going to inhale through your nose, take another sip, and then exhale audibly. Nice. Do it again. Inhale. Another sip. And exhale. Very good. One more time. Inhale. Sip. And exhale. And how does that feel?
That felt
Can
great.
you sense a difference?
I could sense a difference. I could also feel like my exhale was shortened. So like this, I was thinking like, ooh, I need to practice this, like to make this a deeper breathing exercise, because it was not as elongated. But you're right, when you are verbal, I could feel that. That was a big surprise for me.
It is. It's a natural it totally opens up that heart. So that in itself is a huge plus. And you brought up a good point. So many of us breathe through the chest, or shallow. And if you put one hand on your heart or on your chest and one hand on your abdomen, like around your belly button or just below your belly button, and then inhale and see what rises first. Does the hand over your belly rise first, or does your chest rise first?
My belly, for me.
Okay, so that's good. So and that's what we want. You want to bring that breath from the belly, deep from the belly. And then so your belly comes out, and then the chest comes out. And then it reverses. So that's really good. And being conscious of that deep breath. So just bringing the awareness to the breath alone is very calming and soothing in a stressful situation, especially if you're in a situation where you don't want people to know what you're doing. So it doesn't necessarily have to be audible, but Maybe you're just going to put your hand on your belly or something. There's also neurovascular points that you can do. So like with your right hand, you can, make an L, and you're going to put your fingers under your armpit, and the thumb is just resting, your elbow is rest down. And then the other hand comes over onto your right elbow.
Oh, okay.
And you're just resting there. And you can sit in a meeting like this. You can sit at a kitchen table like this. And it can look like you're blocking off. You might want to go to the bathroom and, with body language. But you're going to immediately calm your system down. You're calming down that fight or flight hormone that's running through. Something else, another breathing technique would be the 4-7-8, and I think this is Dr. Weil, his technique. And 4-7-8, meaning you inhale for the count of 4, you hold for the count of 7, and you exhale for the count of 8. And that exhale or having a longer exhale than inhale, again, instigates that parasympathetic nervous response, which is more peace. Parasympathetic being peace, the sympathetic nervous system, stress. So the parasympathetic, peace. Yeah. So I might count, and it might not be to your breathing capacity, so I'll just count it through as an example, and then people can do it on their own. But I'm going to inhale for 4. I'm holding for 7. Exhaling for 8. And then I'll repeat it. And if you can repeat it like 4 times, that's a really good one.
Great. That really makes you slow down. That really forces you. It sounds intimidating, but like watching you do that, I'm like, okay, so this is possible. But it really forces you to kind of help de-stress, help the panic, because you're slowing yourself down so much. And again, being intentional with that moment.
In our brain, even though we think that we are, thinking multiple thoughts at the same time, we really can't. We can think one thought at a time. So when you're counting in your head, and I do that breathing technique often, and I literally use my fingers. So I might, press them like onto my thigh or something. So my brain is being occupied. So I can't think of whatever is in front of me that's scaring the bejeebies out of me.
Right.
So that's part of the reason that technique is so helpful in a stressful situation. And you can do it, and people don't need to know what you're doing.
Right. And when you did the right hand under the armpit and the left hand on the elbow, is that right? I think I got it wrong. Listen to her, not me. I've seen people do that at airports.
And now that you know it, you'll probably see all kinds of people.
Yeah, and I just thought, they're just sitting there comfortable. That's comfortable to them. But they were trying to probably calm themselves from the flight ahead or something.
And it could even be a subconscious thing. If you watch children, this is so fascinating to me. If you watch children, they naturally do certain things, and it's all about calming themselves down. They don't consciously know what they're doing. Even a little baby. So you see a baby, even like say before they can crawl. So say my hand is the floor, and this is the baby.
Yeah.
And see if you can picture this. So this is where their little head is, and then they stick their little bottom up in the air, and they have their head on the floor. That's a technique that we can all do. That will calm you down, is just getting on all fours. Your butt is up in the air. Put your head on the ground. Your hands just resting on your sides behind you. And it's sending a message through your electrical system, your nervous system. I am calm. I am safe. And something else children will do is, and I love this. They will, they can make themselves into little pretzels. and I don't know if I can show you directly here. I'll try to verbally talk it. But if you put your hands straight out in front of you, and then put the backs of your hands together.
Yeah.
And then you're going to bring one hand up over the top of the other so that your palms meet. So you should be crossed at the wrist. And you're interlocking your fingers. Now drop those fingers, your hands down. You're bending at your elbow, and you're pulling them towards your chest and pulling it up in front of you. This is a huge one. You can do this sitting, standing, and on both sides. Both sides meaning your right hand goes up and over, then your left hand goes up and over. And when you're in this position, hold it for like 3 breaths. But watch little kids. They do this naturally. So we can have, children be our guides. There's so many things. Do that. There are so many things, Lucretia.
You can do that anywhere. It looks like you're just stretching. It's not like you're, doing something boisterous to draw attention. That's very subtle to do.
Very subtle.
That's great. Those are fantastic suggestions. And you're right. Nobody needs to know it, and nobody cares. It's kind of like being on the dance floor.
Nobody cares.
It's like, when I hear someone like, I can't go on the dance floor, people are, no one is watching you. They are they are self-conscious about their own dance moves, or they're watching someone who can, they are admiring on the dance floor going, I wish I could dance like them. Like, they're not like, you really suck today. And if they do, forget them. No. They're not worth your time.
No, exactly.
And if someone were to go to your social media, you post a lot of uplifting, happy, positive vibes, and I appreciate that energy, but we're all still human, right? And it's hard to sustain that level of energy every single day. And so I would like to go into this statement that you had shared. People will ask me if I am always happy or always have such a positive outlook, and the answer is no. And this poem resonates with me as an answer because it feels true to me. Joy seeps in. Over time, I have been able to hold it for more than a few fleeting seconds. And on those days, where it's only for a few seconds, I relish in it and honor it with gratitude. If the law of attraction is real, and I believe that it is, just like gravity, then those few precious moments attract a few precious more, and so on and so on. And you have this beautiful poem about, like, some days I feel like crying for no reason. Some days feel harder to breathe than other days. Some days small tasks feel like an exhausting task. It's important to share these feelings so that we learn that we are not alone. Truth is, sometimes I'm a beautiful wreck, yet most days I'm a warrior. And that's okay. I love that you talked about this because we are a beautiful wreck, and sometimes we do feel like a warrior. But the reality is, it is okay to not be okay.
And not only is it okay, it's a necessity. It's a necessity to know that it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
To not beat ourselves up about, why don't I feel good? And it can happen for, when I think back, many years ago I went through a segment of depression that lasted X number of years. And eventually, doing more and more, techniques and, self-care and yada yada, at one point, and it was a teacher that I had, Chris Krinke, I remember taking a class from her, and she said, give yourself 48 hours. You have 48 hours to have a pity party. 48 hours to piss and moan and stomp your feet, scream and yell, do whatever it is that you have to do. 48 hours, pick yourself up, and you move on. I took that to heart, and it's a principle that I incorporate a lot. But it didn't take me very long. 48 hours I'm not wasting 2 days of my life. 24 hours. You get 24 hours. 24 minutes. You get 24 minutes, girl.
Yeah.
And it depends on the situation because there's some big life events and there's some smaller ones. But on the days that we're not feeling okay, give yourself permission to not be okay.
Right.
Just don't stay there. I think that's the difference. Don't stay there. And don't smuck it up against somebody else.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
You do your thing while you do need to do your thing.
Right.
And then get yourself in alignment, and then put yourself in front of people or a partner or your family or friends or whatever. Don't rub that gunkiness off.
Right. Don't bring
But
other people
don't beat
down.
yourself up.
Right.
Don't bring other people down.
Yeah. And I appreciate that, because I do agree. Like, we should be open and accepting to visit that pity party, but we should not live there.
Yes.
We need to pack up and
it's
move
a visitor.
on. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. But I do appreciate that you talk about it, because it is very uplifting. And for you to be vulnerable and authentic and real, I think that speaks volumes of who you are as a person and your character, because you are willing to say, no, like, I have rough days too. Like, and we have to talk about these, because so often, especially in a social media world, it is so, like, I hear so many times, oh, well, they're doing great. Are they? Or is that the illusion they want you to have? Like, if you see someone out there who looks like they're doing great, I would still check in on them to see if they're behind the scenes okay.
Oh, that's so true. And gosh, Lucretia, thank you for even saying that. So even though some, other people, it might look like things are going okay, still check in on them. That's what a gift right there that you just said. Gosh, thanks for that reminder.
Know. Yeah, absolutely, because we really don't know, and they may be trying to say positive things to pull themselves out of their own darkness, or they don't, or they're scared to be vulnerable and honest because, oh, what are they gonna think? Who cares whoever that they is? Stop worrying about what. Start doing what's right for you. But it's really hard when you are in a dark place, depressed, frustrated, scared, angry, to reach out to your friend and be like, oh, well, no, that's hard. So whenever I see someone who's too uppity, I will say, I just want to check in on you. I just want to make sure that you authentically are being okay. And sometimes we're like, yeah, I'm actually really doing great. And other times we're like, no. It's been a rough week that's turned into 3 months.
Yeah. And I think it's important to, to have the courage to be vulnerable if we can, really support one another in that. Getting back to, you're not broken, there's nothing wrong, things are crappy right now, but you're going to get through it. And you don't have to go through it alone. I don't know what I can do to help. I might not be able to do anything physically to be able to help, but I can send you good thoughts. I can send you some love. I can see the wholeness of who you are. And to not be, like you said, not be afraid to have those conversations. Just because we have a bad day, it doesn't mean our entire life is bad. It can feel like it in the moment, but we might need the encouragement to lift one another up and support one another, and not trying to keep up with what we think somebody their life is all good. We don't know that.
We need to give flowers while we are here. And if there's someone who is struggling, and maybe it's a friend in another state, or you physically can't get there, send them a Venmo of $10 for coffee. There's a friend of mine, she struggles every April, and my heart goes out to her because she was close to her mom, and it's been many years, and she so grieves. Her mom's favorite was French silk pie. So every year I call up the bakery, and they're in a routine now, because I do it every year, and I call my friend. I said, here's the address. I need you to go there by 5. Like, we don't have to.
I love that.
And it's just something simple. Like, we don't have to do something grandiose, especially if you're not close to someone. It could be the simplest little thing. Here's $10. Go get a coffee.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna use that. Thank
Yay,
you.
please do. Yes. Because how often have we been at a funeral and it's filled with plants and flowers? It's like, why didn't we celebrate them while they were here? Why didn't we reach out?
Mm-hmm.
And a text can literally be checking in on you. And if 3 days go by, then you pick up the phone and say, no, I am now concerned. It can be
Mm-hmm.
something so, it doesn't have to be a big, grandiose, showy effort. And it doesn't have to be a
Right.
post on social media. Like, just
Right.
just being there for people. And it sounds like what you've been doing and what you do and the skills that you have, you offer so much. I'm certain that you are aware of the lives that you have changed. But I promise you, from the people who have come and experienced you and your energy and your kindness and the knowledge that you have worked so hard to obtain and share with others, you are changing lives. And I'm so grateful for you that you recognize the gift that you were given as a young girl in a small town in rural Wisconsin, and recognize I can do more when my heart feels full in Arizona. And so I just want to make sure that you are aware of the gift that you have shared, and I'm so grateful.
Oh, I'm very humbled by you sharing that, and that really touches my heart. Thank you.
Yeah. And what kind of workshops do you offer there at your space?
So I've done different workshops over the years, and in Sedona, I've done retreats, so mindfulness, yoga, meditation retreats, and they have looked differently. I've done them with my friend Chris Krinke. I've done them with my sister Valerie Radicke, and so we get out in nature. And if you haven't been to Sedona, Arizona, it is unlike any other place on the planet, with these gorgeous red rocks, and it's a vortex energy here, which means anything that's facing is going to be amplified. And
Wow.
energy is energy. It doesn't matter if we name it bad or good. There just isn't. It's going to be in your face. So you're going to have the opportunity to face it, and it switches on a dime. So it's a place where a lot of times instant manifestations can happen. And the retreats that I really have enjoyed doing are they've been with women, and really getting in touch with self-care. We just don't take the time and remember the importance of self-care. So involving, just time and space for that self-care, opportunities to connect in nature, some juicy conversations, because we're all teachers. We are all teachers. Like something that I learned from, and I might know something that you learn from, and so on and so forth. So when you get a group of amazing souls together, it's just everybody benefits. And my sister teaches one type of yoga. I do a different type of yoga that opens up the meridian channels. And so we do some exercises that are going to embody your experience, so that your body will remember when you go home and your brain forgets. So the next retreat is coming up in October. We have space for one more, and that's under spiritofsedonaretreat.com.
Wow. What a fantastic, and I've heard that about Sedona. Like, it's just gorgeous. I have not been, but, of course, social media, Instagram, when I've seen photos and, different people who've traveled there have said it's just mystical.
It is mystical. It's mystical. It's magical. You have to experience it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're coming out.
I will. I'm definitely going to be coming out there. As we've been talking, I'm like, why have I not signed up for something yet? How do I make this into reality? So yes, I will definitely be out there. I can definitely use some manifestation myself for the things that I refuse to stop denying myself anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's time to embrace what the universe has for all of us.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
Also, if you're listening and you're stuck, you're wanting to manifest something, you're wanting something different for your life, this woman is going to change and alter your life in so many incredible, beautiful ways. And I really, truly encourage every single person listening to reach out and see how she can change and enhance the life and get out there and just live the life you deserve to live. Find what brings you joy. Go seek it. If it's in your heart, it's meant to be. You're supposed to be doing it. What? And so if there is someone who wants to work with you, attend your workshops, you know, they know you're in Sedona, but how can they find you? How can we get people connected so that they can live the life that they desire to be living?
Well, thank you for that. I'm on social media and I don't post a lot, but when my heart tells me to. So Deanna Czerwonka LaMont on Facebook and DZ Lamont on Instagram, DCZ Lamont. And you can also go to my webpage, deannalamont.com, and you can contact me directly through that. And then I am always in growth mode, right? And that's what I love about Lucretia, your podcast, Journey to the Rise, because I'm, not even halfway up that mountaintop. And so on my next venture, I'll be posting more on having some YouTube shorts, and I really, really, really want to share. So all kinds of tips, tools, and techniques, and those will be shared on YouTube, which is Deanna Lamont.
Excellent. I will make sure all those links are posted in the show notes. It has been, I knew this would be incredible. This was beyond my, like, what I could imagine. What a special time to spend with you. I am so grateful. Thank you so much.
I thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes.
And I can't
This has been a blast.
It has been so much fun. It has been incredible. And what a beautifully enlightening conversation. Like, this is, and seriously, if you're listening and you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling discouraged, this is your girl. Go find her.
I would love, to work together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Lucretia.
Oh, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate you being here.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate everybody that listens so much.
That's it with Deanna. There will be a bonus episode following this 2-part series. She graciously gave me a mini energy healing session. This really showcases her incredible skill and demonstrates how talented this woman is in her realm of expertise. Next week, well, you asked for it, and I listened, as we talk with Courtney Shand. For those who are new here, we spoke to Courtney in the beginning of season 1. I have received an abundance of requests for her to make another appearance, and she has kindly obliged.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the really funny thing is I work in both domains, the relationship piece and the nutrition piece. And then when I'm working with mostly with my nutrition clients, I definitely have this kind of middle ground of your relationships as you're changing your nutrition, just because, again, I don't want them to fall back into those patterns because they don't have those skills developed. But what I tend to find is when we feel good, we do better.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to Journey to the Rise. I really do appreciate having you here. I hope that you will follow us on your podcast app so you have the latest episode downloaded. Please give us a follow on Instagram. You can find our account at Journey to the Rise Podcast. This episode is research, produced, and edited by Girl Boss Productions. Our music was produced and written by Girl Boss Productions. And please remember to be kind to yourself. When you are kind to you, it is easier to be kind to others. I'm Lucretia, and you've been listening to Journey to the Rise.